Dozens of fire crews from all over the state line respond to a field fire, the latest on how much of the blaze is now contained.
Plus, Rockford's oldest manufacturing company taking on a new form. What's coming to the gunite factory?
And Rockford police look to add new recruits to the department, the new deadline to apply.
Live from WTVO 17. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Wendell Edwards. We thank you for being here. Right now at 5, a field fire in northwest Rockford is 90% contained tonight as more than 30 different area fire departments responded into action. Crews
staged at Thurgood Marshall Elementary to tackle the blaze. The fire broke out around 1 this afternoon in a field near Elmwood. A spokesperson with RPS confirmed to Eyewitness News earlier today that everyone at the school was safe. 46 units from as far away as Genoa and Woodstock were called in to help. Officials say there's no danger to nearby residents.
Anyone who lives out in that area right now, you're safe in your residence. The fire is approximately 90% contained in that field right now, so there's no danger to any residents out there in that area right now. But obviously with today's beautiful weather, a little bit of a breeze and some wind blowing here, it did cause that field to spread, and obviously everything's very dry out there in the field right now.
No injuries were reported. Portions of Owen Center and Rockton roads are expected to be closed for a few more hours. We now know the name of the man killed in a deadly house fire on Horton Street Friday morning. The Winnebago County coroner says 52-year-old Edward Hammonds Jr. of Rockford died. Crews were called to the scene around 8:30 Friday. First responders found Hammonds within minutes of arriving. He had life-threatening injuries. He was taken to the hospital where he died. His dog also died in the fire. The cause is still under investigation.
Several former employees of Gunite, Rockford's oldest manufacturing company, are reopening the idled factory. Governor J.P. Pritzker and state officials announced today a new company, Rockford Brake Manufacturing, would purchase the more than 6,000 square foot facility and factory. More than $6.5 million in state funds are being invested into the new company. You may recall in February, a little over 300 Gunite employees were laid off. Now, Rockford Brake Manufacturing says it will create 150 full-time jobs, many of which will be filled with those laid off.
A lot of excitement and enthusiasm in the community, particularly from team members who had worked here, to come back and join us. So that's been fantastic. There's a couple of skilled positions that everybody in the Rockford region struggles to hire. So we are working through that, and we're confident that we'll be able to get all of the team members that we need to be successful.
Rockford Brake Manufacturing says it intends to produce Gunite brake drums. It plans to have operations resume as early as next month.
The federal government is confirming there will be no SNAP benefits if the shutdown continues through the start of November. Earlier today, Rockford City leaders and community members gathered to voice their concerns. Local food pantries say they are already seeing a rise in people in need and expect even more to need help next month. Some residents say they're worried about how they'll feed their families without assistance.
They don't know what to do and how they're going to pay their bills, because the SNAP benefits were something that they relied on every month. And without that, they'll have to use money in order to pay their rent or bills, and they probably will use that money for food instead.
Some food pantries are asking for community support, whether by volunteering or providing donations. As a reminder, all Northern Illinois Food Bank facilities are closed tomorrow. Staff's hosting a town hall to focus on training, planning, and building a stronger foundation. All regularly scheduled services will resume Wednesday.
A Winnebago County assistant state's attorney arrested and charged with battery. Keith Doherty was booked into the Boone County Jail Friday. The Belvedere police chief telling us officers responded to Poacher's Court for a neighborhood dispute around 10 last night. They ended up arresting the 57-year-old. The state's attorney's office says it is aware of the arrest, and Doherty is now on leave this week while the office investigates. His next court date is set for November. Rockford police also charged 6 people involved with drug dealing on Trilling Avenue. Shamari West, Janatana Ismaili, Richard Hearn Jr., and Willie Fisher, along with Gilbert McDonald Jr. and Sebastian Patterson, all face charges. Detectives began investigating a home there, which led to a series of arrests. 5 of the suspects are in the Winnebago County Jail tonight. Patterson is still at large, and a warrant for his arrest has been issued. The Rockford Police Department has extended its window one more week for new applicants.
Currently, the police department's short about 20 officers and is looking to fill those spots as soon as possible. Eyewitness News reporter Rico Holland is in the studio today. So, Rico, what's the department doing to recruit more officers?
So, Mimi, I spoke to a Rockford police recruitment officer who says engaging with the community has played a big role in bringing new applicants in this year. The police department has had 3 different applicant windows this year in hoping of recruiting new talent. Recruiting officer Katie Stalter says their involvement in the community has led to more applicants than before. They plan to host one more event as the application window closes soon. For that extension,
Yes, the Rockford Police Department is hosting the boxing event at the Hard Rock Casino with the police and fire. So we thought that we would take advantage of that big event that's happening at the Hard Rock over the weekend, this coming up weekend. And we thought, well, why not? We're gonna have a recruitment booth out there. Stop by and talk to our officers that are working, ask them any questions that you might have if you're interested in it, and they'll be able to answer any questions.
the deadline to apply is November 4th. For more information on how to apply, visit mystateline.com. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Rico. Tonight, community members will have the chance to meet the candidates for the City of Beloit's next police chief. Anthony Maselli, Shanella Stewart, and Ty Eagleson are finalists for the chief. Those were announced on Friday. The public's invited to meet all 3 tonight at 6 at the Beloit Public Library. The forum will also be live streamed on YouTube. Tomorrow, the finalists will undergo a second round of interviews with the Beloit Police and Fire Commission.
A major Rockford road is open again after months of construction. Whitman Street reopened at noon today and drivers took to the road. Work began on Phase 2 in February with the area between Avon and Church Streets reconstructed. Crews removed and replaced pavement, sidewalks, curbs, and more. At the intersection of Whitman and Ridge Avenue, a new single-lane roundabout was installed.
Illinois gubernatorial candidates submit their paperwork for the next primary.
When we come back, we'll hear from candidates on both sides of the political aisle with the primaries mere months away.
Nice little spread in our temperatures here this afternoon. Started off in the 40s, made it up to 60 degrees. We've got a bit more cloud cover and some showers that'll be impacting some across the Midwest. Find out if that includes us here locally in the first warn forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Sports Director Scott Lever, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
This morning, hundreds of candidates submitted their paperwork for the 2026 election.
But questions still remain about who will be running in the race for governor. Governor Pritzker, the likely Democrat nominee, was hesitant to commit when asked if he planned on finishing a full term if reelected. The governor is rumored to be considering a bid for president in 2028.
What I can commit to you is that I'm going to work very hard every single day that I'm in office for the people of Illinois, and every decision that I make is really about what's best for the people of Illinois.
Republican candidate for Governor Darren Bailey was not at this morning's filing. Last week, you remember, 4 members of his family, his son and her son's family, were killed in a helicopter crash in Montana. Just awful. Bailey's running mate, Aaron Delmar, says the decision on whether to continue that campaign won't come until after their funeral services have been held.
Right now, we're concentrating on offering comfort for the Bailey family, making sure that the celebration of life, which is going to take place this upcoming weekend in Florida, Illinois, really honors the Baileys. And, you know, this is a time for mourning for the big loss that not only the Bailey family has suffered, but all of our volunteers, our campaign and supporters, and pretty much everybody in Illinois.
Illinois voters will head to the polls for the 2026 primaries on March 17th. U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is in Illinois today talking redistricting.
He met with members of the state's Black Caucus this morning in response to Republican efforts.
I've had conversations with Governor Pritzker, and Governor Pritzker has said publicly that all options are on the table, and that's what we believe. The map is going to be for the legislature and the governor to decide. We are completely and totally committed to making sure that African American representation and Latino representation in the great state of Illinois is preserved.
Governor Pritzker says it's possible Illinois lawmakers could pass something during the veto session or even after that. Many Republicans have criticized the governor over the state's current congressional map. Temperatures were in the 50s for most of the day today.
When we come back, Candace will tell us about our potential rain chances looking ahead. Her full forecast is in just a few minutes.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, we've had a fair amount of sunshine here throughout much of this afternoon, and while it was a little on the cooler side with that wind, it was a beautiful fall day and a beautiful picture coming in on our SkyTrack cameras, no matter where you look from north, south, east, west. Now, what you may notice over the last couple of hours, we've had a slow increase in some cloud cover building in as we're trying to pull in some moisture, battling drier air coming in from high pressure off to our east. Along with that, we've also had some gustier winds from time to time, 20 to 25 mile per hour winds. Those coming down a bit. We don't see them as much or as widespread from what we did just a couple hours ago. So as we get a little closer to sunset, that stronger wind speed will begin to subside, but we'll still hold on to a breeze as we go throughout the night tonight. 54 our temperature in Rockford, DeKalb, 55 right now in Janesville, 56 currently up in Monroe. Our weather watcher Terry down in Genoa this last hour, 56 degrees. Little breeze there still from the east, gusting at around 23 miles per hour. Our weather watcher Jean down in DeKalb, 54 and a 12 mile per hour wind. And Kevin out in Lena this last hour, 57 and an easterly wind at 13. That wind will stay from the east and kind of shift around to the northeast tomorrow as high pressure currently over western Quebec actually holds pretty strong. So that's really squashing a lot of that moisture there down to the south and to the west of us, thanks to that easterly feed of dry air. And we can really see that on our dew point temperature map when you look at the numbers that are in the 30s compared to numbers that are in the 40s and the 50s, where you have thicker cloud cover and where we even have some rain showers coming down. Now, two storm systems will kind of work together and merge into one, forming a stronger low pressure system that for the most part will pass us to the south as our pattern stays somewhat blocked here across parts of the Great Lakes and then the northeast. So let's see how this plays out on future casts. You can see that easterly wind that again will take us into tomorrow morning, but tomorrow morning you are going to wake up to a little more cloud cover. So our skies will turn partly to mostly cloudy throughout the day tomorrow. Now, future cast doesn't show it, but I think there might be just enough moisture that tries to squeak in here west of 26. So we'll say west of a line from Monroe down to Freeport to Dixon and Sterling. You might see a couple of light showers there late into the afternoon and evening. We might see a couple of sprinkles try to get a little further east of there, but I don't think much of anything is really going to make much progress once you get east of I-39. So most of this rainfall is going to stay out to the west, and really anything that accumulates is also going to stay to our west and south. Here's where that low pressure system starts to develop. This is passing well to our south down across western Kentucky and then moving into parts of northwest Mississippi, going through Tuesday night and Wednesday. But as that occurs, the pressure gradient around it is going to tighten up, which means our winds will be picking up. So it gets a little windy here these next couple of days. Drier air comes back in Wednesday night. High pressure builds in. We'll be in and out of the cloud cover there for Thursday, but we're looking at mostly dry conditions at least through that time. Now, when we look at our rainfall accumulation, you can see how most of that stays off to the west and then down to the south. You can see just a little bit there, but that's no more than a tenth or so of an inch coming up there from Tuesday into Tuesday night and early Wednesday. So temperatures for us tonight will drop down to 41 degrees. We'll keep a partly cloudy sky, and then cloud cover increases going throughout the day. Tomorrow we're up to 59. Notice the wind gusting in at around 25 miles per hour. That'll be an east northeasterly wind. Wednesday, I think we get our strongest wind right around 30 miles per hour. North wind then on Thursday, 15 to 20. So it's not terribly windy, but just enough to put a little chill in there. And then we'll have to watch that for Friday too. Friday for Halloween, we might see a couple of sprinkles in there, and some of that could last into Saturday. It'll be chilly too. Notice our temperatures are down, staying pretty consistent in the 50s through the end of the week.
That's right. Halloween is Friday.
It is.
Right. Thanks, Candace.
Scott's next with sports.
Fred VanVleet spoke to reporters today for the first time since injuring his knee. You'll hear what he told them.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
Fred VanVleet's recovering from his torn ACL in his right knee that he suffered before the start of training camp with the Houston Rockets. Today, he spoke to reporters in Houston for the first time since the injury. He says he's taking his rehab slow. He is hopeful he might be able to come back playoff time late next spring.
Whirlwind of emotions, from going down to learning that the injury, what it was, to getting the surgery, the rehab. I've hit every stage, so I'm in a good spot now. Just chipping away at rehab every day, and focusing on getting better and ultimately planning towards a return. So it's really slow right now.
Well, the Dodgers and Blue Jays ready for Game 3 of the World Series tonight, the first game in Los Angeles. Two great pitchers will take the mound. Max Scherzer for the Blue Jays, Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. The series is even at 1. Dave Roberts' Dodgers grabbed the momentum by winning the last game.
We know Scherzer from years past, and we have to know that he's going to come in and compete and make pitches, and we got to have a good game plan and execute.
Here's how the next few games in this series will play out. Tonight, Game 3 at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow night, Game 4 at 7. And Wednesday night, Game 5 at 7. Every game in the World Series can be seen on Fox 39. And here on WTVO tonight, we have Monday Night Football. The 3-4 Commanders against the 4-3 Chiefs. The Chiefs are starting to look like their old selves. That's at 7 o'clock. 2 weeks from tonight, well, the Packers hosting the Eagles on Monday Night Football. What a game that should be. And the Pack had a primetime win last night by routing the Steelers. And Jordan Love got himself in the Packers record books by completing 20 straight passes at one point. That ties Brett Favre's record.
Man, I was just playing. I think you get in that as a player where you just, start flowing and playing well, and everybody around me just making plays as well and executing at a high level.
And the first round of the high school football playoffs is set. You can find out when all of our local teams will be playing this weekend by going to mystateline.com. We'll be right back.
Our first warning interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Glass and More. Pretty quiet out there, and it'll stay quiet here these next couple of days. Might pick up on a few light showers, especially to our west. Late into the afternoon and evening tomorrow. Temperatures in the low 40s tonight. Winds will pick up Tuesday into Wednesday.
Thank you, Candace.
And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at 6.